Tail of the tape for our lightweight tournament championship. Chris Brennan is in as an alternate. He's 26 years old and 2 inches smaller than Pat Miletich. The weight in the lightweights is obviously not a factor. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is my foundation. I can defend, says Chris Brennan. He placed an armbar on his opponent in the alternate matchup at 1 minute and 20 seconds. The voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next fight will determine the winner of the UFC 16 lightweight tournament. Due to a broken finger, Mike Burnett will not be able to continue. So we will begin with the fighter standing to my left. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert with a mixed martial arts record of 4-1-1 and an amateur boxing record of 6-0. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing 168 pounds. He hails from Mission Viejo, California. Please welcome Chris Brennan. Winning his first round in overtime and by the judge's decision, this fighter standing to my right is a Muay Thai boxer and Jiu-Jitsu expert with a mixed martial arts record of 18-1-1. He is a former Midwest Muay Thai champion, standing 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing 170 pounds. Coming to us from Bettendorf, Iowa, please welcome Pat Miletich.
And Big John McCarthy will work the fight again, a constant in the UFC since UFC 2, officiating over 100 no-holds-barred fights, a tactical instructor with the LA Police Department.
Goes for the lightweight championship. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on!
Here we go. Lightweight tournament championship. If you're Brennan, do you want to make this a long match and work on Pat Miletich's potential breakdown of conditioning?
Well, certainly, I mean, you want to feel as though you may have an edge in shape, and the fact that Miletich had that long fight is evidence that he spent more energy, and it was very recent. It was just before the Jackson Bowlander, so he hasn't had a whole lot of time to recuperate. But these two have met twice. They had a draw in August of last year, and then Miletich won a judge's decision after 30 minutes in November. So this is going to be probably a close fight. It's the third time the charm for Brennan.
You know, we should also note that Brennan's alternate matchup took place at about 7:15 local time. He has had a lot of rest. But then again, mentally, you're sitting back there, you don't know if you're fighting again. He found out he was fighting again when Mikey Burnett got hurt.
Well, he's in the finals now. That's got to be a shot of adrenaline coming from being an alternate to being in the finals now. It's a dream come true. Brennan, a quality opponent. Brennan with the takedown.
And Miletich has Brennan in his guard.
Open guard by Pat Miletich. Brennan looking to try to pass it. Half guard now.
Both of these competitors understand submissions. No question about that.
Come on.
Pat Miletich admits that he got in a lot of street fights as a kid, came from a split family, but he fights in the streets no more. He is a trained professional.
Let's do something down there.
And one of the finest mixed martial artists in the world. And that is why he has brought his fight game into the ultimate proving ground, the Octagon.
Looked as though Miletich was trying to set up some kind of a role reversal there, but Brennan able to counter out. Knee to the head by Brennan. Guillotined by Brennan. Miletich trying desperately to get an arm inside the locked hands of Chris Brennan, but Brennan maintaining position. Miletich able to fight his way out.
Good work, good work.
Chris Brennan, the first American to represent Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil. He said he was sleeping in the dojo, sleeping on the mat. Jacques Adair trained him, now has a dojo in Atlanta. In his first fight, he agreed to it. Next day, there were posters all over the street. No looking back. He said, man, what have I got myself into? He won. And he's been spending a lot of time on the mat in the meantime. He's opening a school in Mission Viejo. The next generation will be called of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters.
Brennan also said he likes the mount as opposed to the guard, and he finds himself in the guard.
3 years under Royce Gracie, now trains his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with Roger Brooking. That one matchup you talked about, pardon me, Jeff, was outdoors. And I remember Brennan talking about the fact he wanted to box, but he didn't feel confident with his footing there.
Because it was raining outside. It was an outside mat. Didn't like it, so he decided to play the ground game. Had an opportunity to box here. Miletich rushed him, able to get the takedown. Now it's Miletich's turn. On top, he is in Brennan's guard.
Both of these fighters with one loss and one draw in their mixed martial arts careers. 5 victories for Brennan, including tonight 19 victories, including tonight for Pat Miletich.
One thing Pat Miletich did say, he said if he ever goes for an ankle or leg lock, it's out of desperation. So look for him probably here to use ground and pounds as the means to finish. Brennan, on the other hand, might want to look towards Miletich's legs. Try to get him into a flurry where they're both looking at ankle and leg lock.
Brennan's trying to lock the legs. Now he has. Trying to use the close guard.
That's correct. It's a matter of feel, what the man on top is doing, whether you do that or not.
An advantage to one or the other?
Depends on what you're trying to do. Basically, when you close it, you're limiting the action. You're trying to keep him close and not allow him to move. And a lot of times people will close him to force the man to try to break that lock. And while he's breaking the lock of the feet, they're moving to try and look for submission.
Miletich has delivered some of those rabbit punches, if you will, to the left cheekbone of Chris Brennan.
This is where he wants to work. This is probably where the fight looks like it may stay a while. It all depends on whether or not Brennan decides to become very active.
Well, for the martial artists, this is the top of the mountain. And certainly for the lightweights, the mountain has been built. And these two guys are trying to climb above each other to see who will be the lightweight tournament champion. Debuting here in UFC 16. From New Orleans, Mike Goldberg, Jeff Blatnick. We are happy to be along with Joe Rogan and our fine crew here in New Orleans tonight. Hope you are enjoying the great combatants who participate in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Brennan did a real nice thing. He was being driven head first into the fence. He reached out with his hand, turned himself, used his foot to fully do a 180 and point back towards the center. Very good savvy in terms of octagon awareness.
Mark Hansen is in the corner of Pat Miletich. You can see Mark Hansen right there. Hansen was the best man in Miletich's wedding and a nose guard across the line in high school football. Now they are the best of friends. And Hansen,
and they've been spending a lot of time lately, 3 times within 6 months, inside the octagon.
Get in deeper. There you go. Come on up and whack him. Short elbows.
Pat Miletich's hero growing up was that famous Pittsburgh Steeler linebacker, Jack Lambert. He said Lambert was the man.
And those fans of Pittsburgh Steelers, particularly their linebackers, certainly Lambert set the standard for several years, both with his smart play, but also his physical tenacity and intimidation.
Now Miletich has those same qualities in his fighting skills.
And again, you see Brennan measuring where the fence is. Miletich trying to drive him into it.
7.5 minutes now into this one. After the 15-minute matchup not long ago for Miletich,
Good,
he looks
guys.
okay
Keep
though.
going. Come on.
Conditioning doesn't seem to be a factor.
At this point, no. I don't think Miletich, particularly where he is now, he's setting the pace, so he wouldn't be burning himself out unless he felt he had the energy to continue. And he seems very content here to just work the strike game from within the guard of Brennan. He's not trying to pass the guard. He's just trying to hit with the right hand.
Aggressiveness, striking, and grappling, the criteria the judges use in rendering decisions. They have used those criteria once tonight and gave the decision to Miletich against Townsend Saunders.
Half guard now. This is a better position to strike from.
Slow down. You're in good shape. You're in good shape. Keep your position.
You can hear Hansen.
Slow down, stabilize. You're all right.
Working it from there. Come on.
Pressure up top. Pressure up top. Nice. He's feeling that. He's feeling that. He's feeling that.
He's looking to go to full mount there. He started to step for it.
Working it. Come on. Let's work it out. Let's work it out.
Let's get that mount. Post.
Miletich in the matchup against Chris Brennan that went the distance.
Must have tapped. He must have
Was
tapped.
able to wear Brennan down. And tonight, Pat Miletich is going to be our lightweight tournament champion.
Well, no, I left it on purpose. On purpose. Come here, baby.
As Big John McCarthy steps in, and Pat Miletich, victorious in the lightweight tournament, the 1996 Midwest Muay Thai champion. Here's the official decision from Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner of the UFC 16 lightweight tournament, Mr.
It was by tap out.
Pat Miletich.
It was by tap out. We couldn't really see where we were exactly what the hold was. Miletich was pushed into the fence. And right there, he calls for the, you can see him tapping on Miletich's back, but really difficult to see. He might have had the shoulder across the throat there. Could have had the shoulder across the throat, and there was enough of a hold to get a choke. Enough of a hold to get a choke. Hands weren't locked. It was just strictly the crook of the elbow driving into the chin and the throat caused him to tap. He was punching with his free arm.